What's going on, everyone? Thanks for checking out 6 Point Survival. Today we are going to go through a full setup for a hammock shelter, meaning if you are looking to spend the night somewhere, this is how you do it. Let's go. Thanks for checking out this video on setting up a hammock for a shelter. If you have experience with doing this, I would love to hear your thoughts, what you use, different hammock styles, different tarp styles, whatever it might be. This is one of my favorite ways to go out and camp. There are definitely pros and cons to sleeping in a hammock, but overall I find it the most comfortable. It works the best on my back. And again, it's just a really enjoyable experience. All right, everyone, there's a lot of benefits to using a hammock as a shelter system, meaning you're up and off the ground for the night. One, it's going to get you away from the creepy crawlies on the ground. If the ground is wet, it's going to help get you dry overnight. There's something about just feeling civilized, having like a nice sway hammock that you fall asleep in. Also, it can help regulate your temperature as long as you have the right system in place. If it's really hot out, not having something under you, being up off the ground, will actually help keep you cooler because it can circulate some air. If it is cold out, you're going to need some extra materials, either a hammock quilt or a good insulated air mattress underneath. But that can all be done pretty cheap and easily. So let's check it out. To set this up, you're going to need to find 2 sturdy trees. Depending on the length of your hammock will depend on how far apart they need to be. My hammock's an ENO DoubleNest Hammock, so my hammock itself is 9.5 feet. I like to find like 10 to 12 feet ideally. I'm going to use this tree right here and this tree right here. I stepped it out earlier. It's right about 12 feet. Let's make sure they're durable. Yeah. Yep, they're good. True story, me and my buddies were out hiking and we were camping overnight. There was snow on the ground. It was a pretty cold night. We were up in northeastern Washington state, up by the Canadian border. We get our hammock set up. It is nighttime when we're setting everything up, so we don't think to look up and really check the trees, but we had some nice solid looking trees like this. We were sharing one tree that our hammocks were both hanging off of, and then the tail end of them were going out to 2 separate trees. In the middle of the night, actually maybe not the middle of the night, maybe 30 minutes after going to sleep, I start to hear a cracking noise, and then I hear a really loud, oh shit! And what happened was one of the foot tree for the guy I was out there with, he tied off to a dead tree, and that tree literally came down. Could have landed on him, could have landed on me. Could have been a really bad situation. Luckily, no one was hurt, but even if it's dark out, make sure you look up. Make sure you're not tying your shelter off, specifically a hammock that you're going to put all your weight in, onto a dead tree to stay safe. Pretty straightforward setup on this, guys. The first thing I need to do is set up my hammock. I also have a tarp, an air mattress. I'm bougie, so I bring an inflatable pillow, but definitely not necessary. And then the rope and strap I'm going to use to actually secure it out to these trees. First thing to set up is going to be the hammock. I do have a review video on the ENO DoubleNest Hammock. If you're interested, click the link above. And that is going to be my take on this hammock. Let's set it up. First thing I do is just get it up in between the trees. I can work on getting it exactly how I like it once it's actually up. Key thing here is to go at least waist high. I actually go closer to like chest height. That way when I sit in it, it doesn't sag and hit the ground. And then also make sure that you are getting it nice and tight. When you're sleeping in this, you're going to want it tight so you're sleeping flat and level. Over here I'm using a trucker's hitch. Click the link above to see how to tie a proper trucker's hitch. I'm going to pull this tight right here, and then I'm also pulling the rope to tighten it around the tree. And now I'll tie my trucker's hitch off. First thing I do after I set my hammock up is sit in it. I want to get all the slack out of the system. That's not it. Let's,
A few moments later.
All right, I really didn't like the spacing on the last two trees we were trying, so I'm just moving the shelter to a new spot. The great thing about these is that you don't have to spend a ton of time and energy prepping the ground, moving stuff around, clearing a space to camp if you're using a hammock. So it's just as easy as unclipping it, grabbing your rope or string, and moving to a new spot. I'm going to use this tree and the one right behind me, and like I said, the first thing we're going to do is get the hammock up. So to do this, I'm going to take one strap, wrap it around the tree. Again, I'm going to go right about chest height here. I have two fixed loops on the end of those straps, so I'm going to run one through the other, just like this. Grab it, pull it tight, and clip off one side. I'm going to do the same thing on the other side, and I want to make sure that I don't have any twists in the hammock, or else it's just going to end up being weird while I'm trying to sleep. Okay, nice and open, no twists. For this side, I need to go around the tree first. Whoa. For this side, I'm going to go around the tree. Take this one, go roughly the same height. We'll be able to even it out a little bit more later. And same thing, I'm just going to run one strap through here, pull it tight. Perfect. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and sit in this to help pull out any slack that's in the system and then re-tighten it. I really want a nice tight hammock. That way I'm sleeping as flat as possible. If I don't do this first, you're going to find that when you wake up in the morning, you're really arched and leaning low. I don't have a great back, so this definitely helps out while I'm trying to do this. Now we will go tighten up either side. That way it is nice and taut while we're sleeping in it. I also highly recommend an air mattress in here. You don't have to use one, or it doesn't necessarily have to be an air mattress, but some kind of insulated mattress. It's going to help keep you warmer. It is also going to help keep the hammock open. Anywhere that the hammock is pressing on your sleeping bag, it's going to compress it, and it's going to make that part of you a lot colder. It's going to allow heat transfer in and out of your sleeping bag. So find a way to open it up. All right, we can see this thing's definitely slacked now. So I'm just going to come over to this side. Okay. I'm going to grab it and pull this direction. I want this to bite back on itself. If you pull the other way, it's not going to bite down quite as well on the tree, but I'm just going to grab it and pull. Just like that. And now this is going to bite on itself and keep it nice and taut. Okay, now that the hammock is up, we are going to put the air mattress in to get it opened up. So let's go ahead and grab the air mattress and start doing that. If you want to see a full review on this air mattress, click the link above. I've done a review video on this. As a matter of fact, the review on this air mattress is what prompted this video. Someone had recommended that I do the full shelter setup. Take your extra equipment and just throw it in the hammock. I like to take these extra bags and set them under my air mattress. That way I don't lose anything. Two pro tips for you. One, if you're looking to purchase an air mattress, it doesn't have to be this one. Get one with one of these bags. If you've ever inflated one of these using your mouth, you know what I mean. They have self-inflating ones. Also, the self-inflating ones work okay. I really personally prefer these. They're a little bit thicker. They're a little bit more insulated, usually. And these things are just super simple and quick and easy to set up. Second pro tip, if you are camping in a cold environment, and you are going to inflate it using your breath, that hot air is going to fill this, and then as the air cools off, it's going to shrink, and you will notice that in your air mattress. So it is definitely worth it to fill this thing up, wait about 20 or 30 minutes, and then top it off if it needs it. Using the bag, it's not really as much of a problem because the air is from the environment that it goes in, so it should be about the same temperature going in. However, it's really nice out today. It's like 78 or well, however, it's really nice out today. It's like 68 degrees. Tonight it's going to cool off to like 40. So as that air in here cools down, it may cause it to shrink a little bit, and I might want to top it off. It's going to help me sleep a little bit warmer. This will slide in. Open up your hammock, slide it in. This is exactly what I want this to look like. Looks a little weird, but it is. The air mattress is holding the hammock open. If you lay in this and you are not using something to hold it open, as this material presses against your sleeping bag, it's going to compress it. And when that compression happens, it's going to allow cold air to come in. So you really want something to hold this thing open just like this. If you are going to say it's really cold out or there's bugs out and you want to try and use a flap of this to keep you protected, you want your air mattress more off to one side of this thing. Right now it's centered, so the slit goes right down the middle. But if I was, again, going to use this to cover me up at night, I would actually take the air mattress and shift it inside the hammock so it's off to this side. And then I can throw headlamp, phone, or whatever in here and toss it over the top of me at night. So to get into this thing, I'm going to do it exactly like I did without the air mattress in it. Grab one side, pull it down, stick my butt in, kick my legs in. Oh. Nice. Self-inflating pillow. Absolutely. The self-inflating stuff, basically, it is a similar material. There's some kind of air valve, and there's foam in here that's going to expand, kind of like memory foam. So when you open this, you'll hear it start to kind of suck on its own. I'm not going to blow into this yet. I don't want to introduce moisture inside if I don't have to. Just let it sit for like 10 minutes, and that's going to expand out. If you wanted to add a little bit, you can then blow into it some, but I'm just going to set this off to the side, let that foam start to expand so this thing will inflate. Okay, last part of this shelter system is going to be to put a tarp overhead. They make some really cool hammock tarps that come down and pull around the ends of the hammock so you don't get any rain into your hammock at all. I don't have one of those. This is just a diamond-shaped tarp. My advice to you is, especially if you're expecting any type of nasty weather at all, to tie this thing off about 2 inches above wherever your hammock straps are. Your hammock is going to sink down, and it's going to allow rain or snow to get into your hammock. I've woken up with snow in my hammock before, so you don't want that to happen. So you're going to tie this thing off nice and close. For us right now, it's a beautiful day. I don't want this thing right on top of me, especially if I'm just hanging out. So I could tie it up a little bit higher, which is probably what I'll do, right about a foot. Not expecting any rain for the next few days, so not something I really need to worry about. Some of these are just perfect squares or diamonds. Other ones are a little bit offset. This one is a little bit offset, so there is a right and wrong way to put it up. I keep my shelter piece with the lines already on it. That way I don't have to carry separate lines for it. To tie this off, you could use a trucker's hitch, clove hitch, whatever your favorite way is. Pull it nice and tight. I'm just using a clove hitch to tie off on both of these. The tarp, or the tarp is just about as long as the trees are far apart. So a trucker's hitch isn't really going to work for me here, but a clove hitch will work great. If I wasn't ready to actually have this up yet, but I wanted to prep ahead of time, I could always just fold this back and over. I'm doing it this way so you can see it, but I would probably have it flipped over to the lakeside or wherever I wanted to look at. And then I could sit in this side, have a little bit of sun protection from my shelter top, but not have it completely blocking where I'm at. Also, I could just pin it out to the other side, which is what we'll do next. So if you're not ready to go to sleep yet, just tie out one side, leave the other side loose. Once you sit in this, I know they're actually physically touching right now, but once you get in it, you're gonna have plenty of separation. That you could have a little bit of shade. And again, there's only about a foot in between the ties on the hammock and the shelter piece itself, the tarp tie off. When you are ready to set it up for bed, you grab the other side, flip it over, and tie it out. Depending on the weather will depend on how steep I tie this, whether it's all the way to the ground or not. All right, that's the finished shelter. See what it looks like from the inside. Little bit of clearance in between the rain fly and the hammock, but once I'm in, that is going to open up a little bit. All right, guys, that is it on this video. That was setting up a hammock for an overnight shelter. Obviously, I throw a sleeping bag into this too, but it's the middle of the day, so I'm not going to worry about that just yet. Let me know what your experience is with using a hammock as an overnight shelter. If you have other thoughts or opinions, something else you've experienced, good, bad, indifferent, would love to hear your stuff on it. There are definitely some other cool hammock systems out there that do a little bit more than this one does, but for the price, I think this is one of the best ways you can set up a hammock shelter, in my opinion. Gets you off the ground, keeps you dry, gets you away from the bugs, and it is just comfortable sitting in here getting rocked to sleep. Thanks for checking it out. See ya.